Hey everybody, hope you're good. If you're new around here, hi, my name is Abby, and if you're not new, thank you so much for coming back to watch another video. So in today's video, I wanted to continue with my sunscreen review series. Please do check out the playlist in the description box. I have reviewed quite a few affordable sunscreens and it'll be good to check them out just in case the points I'm about to talk about with this particular sunscreen don't really sit well with you. So yeah, so without further ado, let's get into the video. So in today's video, I wanted to talk about a sunscreen I kind of came across by accident. I was minding my business in my local Sainsbury's. Sainsbury's is just a supermarket basically, to my American viewers. So I was just, browsing around, ended up in the beauty aisle, and I came across this. I think I walked in there hoping to find the Nivea sunscreen, which is a really good face sunscreen. It's only £6 and it's SPF 50. So I was hoping to get that, but I didn't see that. But then I saw this, and this was new at the time, so it's been a few months. I've been sitting on this for a while, but I finally got around to actually reviewing it. So what I'm talking about is this sunscreen here. So this is the Garnier Ambre Solaire Sensitive Advanced Lightweight Protection Lotion, SPF 50 plus, and it has a 5-star UVA rating. Now what caught my eye, I think actually there are two things that caught my eye when I was shopping. It was advertised as a face and body sunscreen. It's massive. It is like, what, 200 ml of product, and it was £8 at the time as well. So I thought, yes, I didn't come here looking for you, but I'm glad I found you. Let me take you home, get to know you better, and see if we get along. So yeah, so I bought it, and I've tried it a few times. I have some thoughts. They're not all great, but they're good enough. So yeah, so if you wanna know more, do keep watching. So the first thing I said that caught my eye, one was the size, two was the fact that it was advertised as a face and body, and I saw the UVA rating was a 5-star rating. So this is the Boots rating. You won't see it on all sunscreens, but generally speaking, in the European Union, this is quite a recognized logo just to know how much UVA protection you get. In other sunscreens, like in say America or other sunscreens in Europe that don't advertise with this little badge, if they do say broad spectrum, you can be rest assured that there's a really good protection on the UVA front anyway. So of course this is I say of course like this is a hybrid sunscreen. So I looked in the back. I'm not very good, and I'm not very, I'm a skincare geek, but I'm not that extreme to the fact that I'll be able to spot out the scientific names for some of these sunscreen filters. So you might need to do a bit of research by yourself, but I was able to, pick out one or two. And of course I say it's a hybrid sunscreen because I saw that it actually contains titanium dioxide, and it's the nano size as well. So yeah, I was a bit apprehensive, but because I'd already tried the Altruist sunscreen, which again is another hybrid sunscreen with amazing filters, it has both a physical and a chemical sunscreen. So the physical is the titanium dioxide. There are only two in the world, zinc oxide and titanium dioxide. So if you're ever wondering, or if you've ever been confused, there's only two. Anything else is a chemical filter. So yes, because it contains titanium dioxide nano, and I saw that it also contained homosalate, it probably contains a bunch of other amazing sunscreens. If you've ever seen a review of this, I haven't actually checked for a review of this on YouTube, oddly enough, but for it to actually have a 5-star rating, I'm sure it has some amazing filters in there. If you care about those things, please knock yourself out and Google it. But I just wanted to kind of get this quick review out in terms of what it looks like. That's really what matters to me. What the rating is, what it's supposed to be used for, is it good for my skin, and what it actually looks like on my skin as well. Those are really the things I look for. And of course, if it doesn't break me out, assuming it's a good formula. So those are really the things. I'm not necessarily hell-bent on the filters and it has to have this filter. I do know there are some really great filters out there. There's a patented filter concoction called Mexoral, which I know La Roche-Posay, Eucerin, and probably a few other very well-known brands use. That's an amazing you know, kind of filter concoction, and it's been known to not break down when it comes in contact with sunlight, which is amazing. So that's one. And then we have Tinasorb, the different Tinasorb filters. So I do know a little bit about some of the filters that are out there, the new ones and the older ones, but what it ultimately boils down to is what it looks like and how well it protects. So yeah. For this particular sunscreen, I've already said it's an SPF factor 50 plus, and it also says UVB plus UVA plus long UVA. So I looked at this was another thing I spotted, and I was like, okay, long UVA. And I think I remember what's her name, oh my gosh, Lab Muffin, talking about the different, like I think there was a particular video where she really geeked out on sunscreen filters, and she talked about the actual protection that you get, and it was charted out on a graph, and it showed all the different filters and how they perform over time. And long UVA is usually one that isn't, I guess, not all the filters can touch on in terms of actually protecting your skin against. So this is an added plus. I think that's the real reason why it got the 5-star Boots rating. So, and also for the fact that it's an affordable sunscreen that's available at the drugstore, essentially, you know, at the supermarket. It's definitely one you can get your hands on, especially if you're in the UK or in the European Union. So on the back, I don't think I'm going to need to research on my phone for this, because everything actually really is on the back. So I'm just going to read off the back for you. So it says, formula conforms 100% to the European recommendations for protection against the harmful effects of UVA and UVB rays. And it says, our sensitive advanced products are especially developed for sensitive and sun intolerant skin. They protect against UVB, UVA and long UVA rays, preventing immediate and long-term skin damage. And yeah, so, and also, yeah, there was another good thing about this. It says it's an eco-designed tube, and you know, if that's greenwashing, I'm not necessarily sure, but the tube does look like it's kind of made out of cardboard, if that's, you know, really, really important to you. So it says this eco-designed tube is made with 48% less plastic compared to Garnier Ambre Solaire 200 ml plastic tube. So, you know, nearly half of it is made with plastic and other products. Again, it talks about the actual precautions you're supposed to take in the sun. So it says overexposure to the sun is dangerous. Do not stay in too long in the sun, even while using a sunscreen product. And I do know I need to say that again for the people in the back, because people don't necessarily listen to that. They just think they've got sunscreen on and it's good to go and they can just stay out in the sun all day. It's not that simple, because it does not provide 100% protection. Apply the sunscreen product just before sun exposure. Reapply frequently and generously to maintain protection, especially after swimming, perspiring or toweling. Keep babies and young children out of direct sunlight and avoid the eye area. Yeah, so in case of contact with the eyes, rinse them immediately and thoroughly. Avoid contact with fabrics to prevent staining. So that's a thing. If that's a thing for you, definitely be careful with this, especially if you're wearing like whites. I know some people do have an issue with sunscreens staining their whites and turning it yellow. Yeah, so if anything, I haven't noticed that with my whites, but again, if you try this or if you're worried about that, definitely apply your sunscreen, let it dry before you get dressed. And there's a bunch of other things you can do in the time that it takes for you to get dressed, that it takes for you to apply sunscreen and get dressed. You know, maybe, I don't know, tidy up a little bit, I don't know. There's things you could do just to make it dry. Stand in front of the fan. There's things you could do so to help with that if that's an issue for you. So it says it's non-greasy, non-sticky, hypoallergenic, face and body water resistant, fragrance free. So those are the key things. Even I did actually look on the Garnier website, and it didn't call out too much else that's different from what I can see on this package. So I don't think, I mean, unless you, yeah, I don't think there's anything else really to call out. So in terms of how it applies, so because of the titanium dioxide, the nano titanium dioxide, I was already a little bit wary in terms of how it would apply on my skin, and obviously you can see in the video that it applied. I'd say 98% of the product applied without being visible. I mean, if you really like know my skin more than me, or if you're like right up in my grill, then maybe you might be able to see a tiny teeny itty bit, you know, itty bit of white cast. But there is barely anything. It's one of those where if I applied it to my skin, because I know my skin, you know, has a yellow undertone to it, it makes it slightly neutral. That's really it. But if anything, it applies immediately onto like my skin, and it blends in really easily. If I had to compare, I think because my last sunscreen review, one of my sunscreen reviews was on the Vichy, like a big tube like this as well, Vichy sunscreen, like a milk it's called, and that also has titanium dioxide, I believe, and the white cast on that is a little bit more than this. And even saying that, that can be used on my skin. The only thing is it just makes my skin tone neutral rather than having this yellow yellow undertone to it. That's really all it is, but both of them blend in very easily. This probably blends in a little bit more and more quickly as well. I think it's more to do with the fact that the formulation is slightly more moisturizing. So on my face I do feel it, I suppose. So on the days when I need to wear makeup, I'll definitely powder down first. It's not straight up greasy, but it is definitely moisturizing, and it's slightly heavier than that formula, and it's slightly heavier than my other face sunscreens. So I think that's the kind of compromise you do reach when you have a face and body sunscreen. It does tend to lean more on the slightly heavier side. Having said that, it's not a thick formula that you can't work with. You know, it's a really nice formula. It blends in really easily, again, for something that contains nano titanium dioxide. And yeah, it's a really good formula for, like, if you're looking for something that's super affordable that you don't have to get online. You can literally pop at your Sainsbury's, Tesco, any supermarket, your Boots, Superdrug, any local supermarket, you can get this. And for the amount that you get, this will be great, you know, for, you know, all the family, I suppose. Again, because it advises not to put it close to your eyes, I usually just apply my sunscreen all of my eyes, and if I have an issue, I know not to apply it again, and I replace that with like another sunscreen or sunscreen stick. Yeah, so you can use sunscreen sticks around your eyes if you're wondering what to do about the eye area. I have a video on sunscreens for the eye area, so you can check that out in my playlist. But in terms of how it applies, I really do like it. The only thing is to just bear in mind that it's slightly heavier on the skin. So if I had to compare, I think it feels like the Eucerin Dry Touch, which most people actually commented that they actually really liked on their skin. So yeah, bearing in mind my skin type is oily, I'm prone to some dry flakes on my skin, like in the jaw area, because I use tretinoin. But before that, I was just like an oily combination, normal to oily, I guess. Oily in my T-zone, normal in the like surrounding areas of my face. So yeah, I kind of just say oily just to make my life a lot easier. But yeah, now I'm leaning more like oily and slightly dry sometimes, not all the time, around like the jaw area. That's just really the only thing to bear in mind with my skin type. And applying it on the skin as well, like I said, it's really easy. I'm hoping, and I'm trying not to ramble too much in this video, it's £8, it's a big tube, it applies really well, it contains both physical and chemical filters, so it's a really good hybrid sunscreen. There's a tiny bit of white cast, but when I say that, please don't run a mile away and click out. You can literally use it, like my skin tone, I can use it. I've layered this on my skin before and it's been fine. So I think the only thing just need to bear in mind, if you want to put it all over your face just to make your life a lot easier, like on your face and your body, you'd need to powder. That's really the only thing. It doesn't peel and it blends in really easily. It's just a slightly bit heavier than what I would love for a face sunscreen, but that doesn't stop me using it as well. So that's really the only thing. I like it. It's an affordable and accessible sunscreen that I think a lot of people would like too. So yeah, so that is my review. If you want to know more about a few other affordable sunscreens, do please check out my playlist in the description box. So yeah, that's it. Until next time, stay blessed, have a great morning, afternoon, evening or night wherever you are, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye.